So, do you think, Yasir, that we have been able to define our own national interest efficiently and effectively enough that we can have a solid foundation for a foreign policy to be based on?
I would say yes and no in response to your question. But as far as national interest is concerned, it works like a centrifugal force when we talk about foreign policy. It works like a nucleus, because without national interest and then going about it and then making policies, and if you take national interest out of it, it would be sort of a shallow policy, because without national interest there is no foreign policy. We have taken high moral grounds for the last 5 years or so, and we have been, to a larger extent, we have been successful. In spite of, we have to see through the prism of how many challenges we are confronted with. And yes, Pakistan, if we analyze internally as well externally, we are up against many challenges. So keeping that in context, I think so Pakistan has remained successful. Today, Pakistan is a respectable country. Pakistan has a very good self-image, which has been portrayed to the rest of the world because of our foreign policy. Like you see, if I give an example on the Kashmir stance, Pakistan has played its cards very well, and now there is a growing realization, there is a growing sense, at least creeping from different parts of the world and different nations, now at least acknowledging and realizing Pakistan's sacrifices as well as Pakistan's stance as far as the Kashmir stance is concerned. So I think so, and then in this multipolar world order, you see the world has changed now. And especially because, as I mentioned, that it is about economics. And now the shift is changing from the west to the east. So in that particular context, Pakistan has a very good image. Pakistan has played a very pivotal role, because with the unison of China and Russia now, in this multipolar world order, regional guild is very important. And that's where Pakistan is showing its positive image and showing to the rest of the world, to its neighbors and near neighbors, that Pakistan is a peaceful country, and now we are trying to change our image. We have to work on softer things where these can be work as an ambassadors, like sports and culture, people-to-people contact. Media should play a very important role. Media is very important, because you see, we call media as a double sword agent. It has its positive as well as it has its drastic implications. And when we talk about national interest, because that's what the image people get, and like for example my friends from the West, when they visit Pakistan, they have complete a different experience, and they express themselves that this is the best country they have ever seen. But when we are in the West, or what West is portraying is basically from our media. So that's where the importance of media is critical, because it's like walking on the eggshells. And that's where media, whether it's electronic media or print media, they have to be very sensitive about about the self-image, about the narrative. And that's where I think so media can play a very important role in changing the perceptions.
Yeah, absolutely. A very important role should be played by the media. But let's talk about the